Hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh, I'm rusty. I'm rusty. Haven't
It's
gone
been a
so long.
while.
Hello,
I just
Layla.
noticed that. Look at this perfect match to your sweater.
Yes, yes. I actually wore this shirt to some, tourist thing. And you know how they take pictures when you arrive and then they kind of put you in a thing? Well, my shirt was like green screen. So I was like, just had a head in the thing. Alyssa,
Oh,
hello, Camille.
we'll wave to you
Okay.
since you can't hear us.
She's got us on mute. Hello, Sally. Barbara, hello, hello.
Hello.
Diana. Oh, Israel, hello. Charlotte, nice to see you. And Kathy, well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be back. Oh, Lynn, hello. So, how have you been, Amber?
Good. Just working on cookies and
More
dealing with.
cookies?
Hmm?
Cookies and more cookies?
Yes, cookies. Dealing with the snow days and sick days and school holidays and trying to get everything done in between.
Absolutely. I get that. Hello from Texas. Hello, Tina. Hello, Mauritius. I had a friend from Mauritius. Sounded like a very lovely place. She'd tell me how she'd walk home from school, stop and pick a mango and eat a mango on a rock.
Wow, how nice.
Yes. So here I'll share some news at my house. We got a puppy. So this is Winnie. And so yes, I've been very busy with my new baby.
She's
So
just so adorable.
yes, we think she's pretty cute. It's like I have to say she's a wiener dog. So she's a little bit like a rat. She's a bit like a rat running around the house. We have to be careful because we're all like, the family's very tall. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Hello, Amy.
And how big will she get?
11 pounds is supposedly the top.
Oh, so she's gonna be a tiny dog all her life.
Small
How
dog.
cute.
I,
Mhm.
it's 15 years, right? You're committing to. So I wanted a dog that was going to travel. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
As a bigger dog,
Mhm.
they're lovely, but they take a lot of space in the
Yeah.
car. And Tina, her brother has 5 wiener dogs or 5 dogs.
Wow.
Yes, a puppy keeps you busy for sure. It's similar to a toddler, I would say.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
toddler wears a diaper.
Well, yeah, but then you're potty training and then the diaper comes off and they're peeing in the house like a dog would,
Yes,
on the
yes.
floor.
I think it's equal fun. Equal fun.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so today I was, I'm rusty. It's been a while, so I went looking because we always bake lots of cookies when we're, prepping for the videos, and so we bake a bunch for projects, and then sometimes we don't get around to stuff. So I pulled out. I was telling Amber some slimy cookies because when cookies get old, well, but nobody eats the demo cookies, so it doesn't matter. I'm sharing this tidbit with you guys. So here it is. So you can see there's a lot of texture. I like these projects if you're a beginner, just to help you kind of figure out how royal icing kind of behaves, right? And then once you make these kind of like more basic projects, you master the kind of how to manipulate it, right? I had a
Mhm.
bowl of
Mhm.
water because royal icing, you can use it in so many different like consistencies.
Yes.
So, any beginners watching us today? Hi, June.
Hello.
Oh, your brother has wieners. Yes, the wiener dog is seems to be one. Once you get one, you're hooked for life for that breed. That's what I've read. All right, let me do the dance here. Is it this one or this one? This one. There. And so I don't have a lot of backup videos today. So hopefully the tech stuff will go well.
Oh, hello,
So if you
Jeremy.
look, oh, hello, Jeremy. So if you look, we've got a pearl here in the eye, but the rest is all royal icing and different consistencies. It's all the stiff, but here the head is flood. And you can see how the flood dries super smooth. So here's the cook. And you don't have to use a marker, but if you want to give yourself just a general kind of idea of where stuff should go. Oh, fish have got to be.
Is that from the 100-piece set?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Goldfish, have you seen them in the news? They've gotten to be quite a problem, eh?
I don't know anything about that. What do you mean?
People get them as pets and then they, don't want them anymore. So they either bring them to their local pond or flush them down the toilet. And then they become invasive in a lake or whatever. And then they grow like they could be, they're very big. If the body of water is big, they grow. And so they actually overtake the pond, and the things that are local die or can't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you get a goldfish and you change your mind, don't put them in the toilet.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the pet store, maybe. All right, so this is I did a little fast picture though to show you guys. So this is the first one here, the first step. So you can see the lips on the fish, which I like. That's the 104 piping tip. And the ruffle is also the 104. The difference is fat end out for the lips and narrow edge for the little ruffle.
Smart.
And those,
I like that.
Yeah, the little lips give the fish a little cuteness, And you can kind of see how it would also work in some cases for a flower. So I've got it kind of like up right above the cookie. It's not really angled, and I'm squeezing until it connects to the cookie, and then I keep squeezing until it expands a bit, and then I pull towards like the narrow edge. And then you can pipe right away the other one. You don't have to wait because the icing is stiff. And there you get like a little heart. Perfect little fish lips.
Cute.
And it's I think, is it not in focus? Let me.
I mean, I can see, but I don't.
Let me just do one thing here.
There we go. Okay.
That's better, I think. All right, so now I flip the piping bag and I've got the narrow edge towards the outside so that the ruffle is narrow there at the top. And there's no, you're just kind of doing a wiggly to get some texture and movement. So just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And same thing, you can rotate the cookie and do the same thing at the bottom. Like that. Now, if you can either just, brush it down. I like to have it a little bit flatter so that I can come in and do the rest of the scales and stuff. So you can just with a damp brush kind of press it into the cookie,
So did you dip that in a little water?
I did. The water helps it slide.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get this really nice kind of texture. And you don't even have to have it like wait for the next step, which I'll show again here. So you see the face area is just the same color, but runnier. And so you get like a more smooth finish in the face. And then the eye, you could pipe it, but I have these big black pearls. So it's quick. And what I like about a pearl is when you press it in, and I don't know if you can really guys see it, creates like a dimple around the pearl. Whereas if you pipe on top, well, the icing is flat and the eye becomes a bubble. This kind of gives it like a little bit of a dip.
Yeah, you get more dimension that way.
I find it gives it a little something, something.
Yeah.
If you have the pearls, I mean, I have this, look at how many eyeballs. I mean, do quite a few projects, we buy these things and we end up with, sometimes they even get discolored before we get to use them, I have some on display in these racks, and so I'm just quickly adding the icing here for the head area. My cookie is spinning. One of the things you can use is that to line your cupboards. I've seen people cut squares of that. You know that rubber?
Yeah, the grippy stuff.
Yeah, so that your cookie doesn't spin on you.
And then you've got your 2-in-1 tool.
That's it. So a little shake if your icing is not quite at the right consistency to, automatically self-level. But if your icing is like this, it'll dry less flat. Like the runnier the icing, the flatter it dries. So if you want to have a little bit more kind of dimension on the dry cookie, you need to leave some body there. And body, I mean like if you're adding too much water, all the air leaves, right?
Yeah, so like volume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for the actual goldfish here, the scale area, yes, absolutely. You could do like that really nice children's book with that blue rainbow fish. Your girls, have you seen it? It's a blue fish and it looks kind of similar like this, and the scales are all different, kind of like pink. And anyway, it's
Somebody will know. Somebody tell us what the book is.
Yeah. And so you could paint some of the scales metallic, and you can really make them quite fancy. So because I wanted it to kind of look a little bit more interesting, I did 3 shades of orange, and you can see just that simple detail, makes it a little bit. That's it, rainbow fish. It is a very cute art. Like you do a themed party, it could be a cute themed party for a child. Okay, so by having these multiple tones of the same color, just gives it more interest. And so you can pigment your icing light. You just do a bit, then put some in a piping bag, add a little bit more food color, then put that in a piping bag, just so that you don't have to have like 3 dirty bowls. You can just kind of darken that one bowl. So again, you don't have to wait for this to dry, because the icing that's coming on is thick, and you can work right now. You don't have to wait. Is there anything? Cookie books with kids. My series has been cookie books. Well, then it's perfect. Right? So now I had a 104 in my orange bag, so I'm just going to switch it to a 4. The scales are done with a 4.
This is the pout fish was the one that came into my head, but that's not. Yeah, it's a different one. Do you know the pout fish?
I don't know the pout fish, but if you see the rainbow fit, like that book was very popular with kids. Like at some point, the stuff. It's all new authors come out and everything, but it was cute.
I'll look for that one.
Yeah, and maybe it's on discount now.
Yeah.
So what I've done is you can use one of the different tones of the orange where the ruffles are, just because then, it's like you're getting a little bit more of a pop because it's not the same color against it. And you can leave a decent gap between, because you're squishing the dot. And so by squishing the dot, it expands, right? We're squishing it with the paintbrush. So this brush embroidery, again, so many projects. Like this is a project, you have to see it as technique, not so much the fish. So we're playing with ruffles, we're playing with thicker icing, flood icing. And so that's kind of these projects with multiple kind of things to learn, I call them skill builders. And then you can do another row. Once you've done the paintbrush, you do another row. And ideally, you'd stagger them, but it's not a big deal if you don't. It still kind of looks fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not switching the piping bag 3 times, because I have 3 colors for every row, because every time you drop and pick up the bag, that takes time. And so you can alternate, 2 different colors for each row. But I don't think it's necessary to alternate 3 different colors for each row.
Right.
So think about, like, every time you pick it up and put it down, if you have 100 cookies.
Yeah, that's a lot
of time.
Hi, Victoria.
Thank you. Ukraine, I hope you're safe.
And did you already say what tip? It looks like a 3, 2, or a 3.
It's a 4.
Oh,
When you're working, I find when you're working with stiff icing like this, that the bigger the tip, just easier, less squeezing.
yeah, definitely.
I found that eventually, you know, it starts to pull,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're making a lot of cookies, I don't know. Have you been using, like, I didn't see in any of your projects more recently, I know it was a sponsored post, but the Eddie, I mean, that has, I think, changed a bit the cookie world.
Yeah, I've used it a handful of times. But on Instagram, I've seen Borderlands Bakery. She uses it a lot, but I think she actually makes cookies for sale, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's great if you have orders to do.
Yeah. The thing is it doesn't make that interesting a video,
Right. You have
right?
to add some embellishments to it. So when
Yeah.
I used it, I made like a Halloween cookie. So I printed out like a scary kind of cameo with a spider web, and then added like I piped a frame around it and painted it gold to just add some dimension.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, like, you did it and it was very nice, but I just mean you can't do that for every video. Like, it,
Oh
you know,
yeah, no, right, right.
like, it was very, you're showing kind of ways for somebody to be creative with the tool and stuff.
Mhm.
But after you've made 3 videos, it's like,
I know. Yeah.
so you see, it's
Oh,
just
see.
dots. And I'm kind of just doing, like, I'm not being super meticulous, you know.
What type of color did you use?
So I started with copper for the light one. That's copper. And then I added some sunset orange and, you know, darkened it up
Mm.
in two, you know, kind of 2 times. All right. So for the tail, we had a 104 for the ruffle. And for the, where's my picture here? So for the tail, I wanted to have a narrow edge on either side of the tail because see for the fin or whatever you call on the fish, that is connected to the fish, whereas the tail, we have both sides, right? Like, so I wanted to have it 2 narrow edges, so that's a leaf tip. So 352. Did I have 352 written there?
Yes.
Yeah, 352. So this is what you use to do a leaf, or you can use it also, it makes a nice sunflower petal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There is a guy that mows lawns. And actually, that's his channel. He mows lawns. He goes to people who, let's say, like a single mom who's lost, you know what I mean? And so he goes to their house and he cleans up their yard and he gets a lot of views.
Yeah, I've seen them on TikTok.
Yeah.
And power washing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or carpet washing.
Yep, I've seen a lot of those. Mm-hmm.
But the ones I don't like is when they just waste soap. Have you seen that? They just squirt a bunch of soap like in a sink and like squeeze the sponge. It's like just so wasteful.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so this is the 352 and I'm just doing a pulse squeezing so that I get like a bubble, like bumps, you know, not just like
Like a little wave.
yeah,
Yeah.
like little waves. That's it. So squeeze, leaving it in place, but pulling slightly away. Then you release the pressure and you get a little point. Then I rotate to do this side here, pulse squeezing, and then you pull away. And then you get this little tail.
So
And
cute.
I find it works better than, you could make do with the 104, but I do like the look of that.
Yeah.
So
And if you've got your coupler on, you just switch out the tip very
exactly.
easily.
So here you could, once it's dry, paint with gold some of the little scales if you wanted to give it a little bit more of a goldfish look, you know? Any questions?
Oh yeah, there was one earlier about refrigerating dough. Do you refrigerate your dough overnight? Like, is it part of your recipe?
So I'll cut. Okay, so I make the dough and I roll it immediately when it's made. A lot of recipes say to chill the dough before you roll it, but I'm old. I'm old and just have no energy. And so rolling out chilled dough requires a lot of effort. It's hard. So I roll it out when it's freshly made and soft. And then I roll it on parchment paper and I pick up the whole sheet of parchment paper, put it on my cookie sheet, and I'll do it that way. Because yeah, like once the dough is chilled, I used to do it like that when I was,
Yeah.
But after you've rolled a considerable amount of cookies, it really takes a lot of effort.
It does, yeah. I roll mine. I make the dough, and mine is too soft to roll it out at that point, so mine has to go in the fridge. But then I end up having to leave it out to like soften. Yeah. So yeah, just a little. So then it's easier to roll it because if you try to roll it when it's chilled, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's it. So I was like killing myself, literally getting like a workout. I said, well, why am I doing this? And then I started doing it the other way and it works just fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't find that I find that it doesn't, sometimes if I leave it too long in the fridge like that, like raw and cut, that the cookies bake weird. So I need to bake them like within 2-3 days. Mm-hmm. I find that my kind of dough then gets weird and wonky. I don't know. How long can you keep it in the fridge?
In the fridge, I usually keep it in the freezer always. So like I'll chill it in the fridge for an hour and then do all my things. And then it's always in the freezer after that. So like, yeah, I don't really keep it in the fridge at all. But I have I have the room for it. Like I have a whole refrigerator size freezer. It's like a stand-up one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I have.
Can you put a cookie sheet in there?
Yeah.
It fits a cookie sheet?
Oh, yeah.
That's a big freezer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Not everybody has the space for that.
Right.
So if you don't have the space, what you can do is freeze or at least chill them, and then you can handle them, and then you could stack them. You can stack them once they're chilled and on one cookie sheet. If you don't have a lot of space, that's an option. Make sure you put parchment paper between or else they'll fuse and then you're going to have trouble separating them and then to bake them, I usually, if I do that, if I do cut them while they're room temperature, I remove the scraps and I leave the cookie on the parchment paper, because if I lift the cookie off the parchment paper when the dough is soft, the shape gets weird. So I'll roll on parchment paper, remove the scraps, and then lift up the parchment paper with the cut cookies. So that's it. I mean, a lot of people actually have like arthritis and different like issues, and they want to make cookies. So these are kind of like cheats that make it a little bit physically less kind of grueling, because it is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Should I do another?
Yeah, let's go through another one, because that's a pretty and I think that some people came in later. So now you can.
Guys, if you missed anything, you could always watch the replay. The videos stay up, so you can watch the replay. Where's mine? Oh, here it is. So we're starting with a 104 royal icing. This is royal icing. Royal icing dries hard. That's the difference between buttercream. Buttercream, I would say, is tastier. Do you prefer buttercream or royal icing?
Oh, for eating, buttercream.
Yeah. But as delicious as it is, it doesn't package very well, doesn't stack very well, right? If you're making wedding cookies or a big event, it's not ideal. So this is a 104 fat egg.
Wilton or PME?
I don't know that PME would be 104. Their numbers are not like Wilton. So this is a Wilton 104. I don't know what PME's pedal tip would be. Their numbers are different that I've seen anyway. Star tips and stuff, they're different. Well, thank you, Rhonda. So fat edge out, squeezing. I'm just above the cookie and right like a T shape, you know, squeezing and then connecting to the cookie. And then I rub down to kind of cut it. And then immediately I can do the other lip. And then you have this kind of texture and you get a cute little fish mouth. And then I just kind of change the side of the piping bag so that the narrow edge is out because I want to have kind of like a more fine edge where the fin is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just wiggling like that. You want to try to get as much texture as possible. I find that the thick icing, you can cover more surface quickly. Do you know, like if you're doing a flower, you can kind of just zoom across, like
Yeah.
get around the cookie.
Right.
And then I'm just kind of flattening with a damp brush, just so that when I add my scales, this is less of a bump right here. It's going to be more kind of a seamless edge. And then I have the same color, but in runny icing. So you take a little bit out of your bowl into another bowl so that they're the same color. So you do your stiff icing, add your color, take a bit out, and then add water. And then you get a perfect color match. So this is, like I say, a flood icing, connecting to the lips and just creating a little head here so that it's smoothed over for the head area. So after this, I'm taking my puppy to the vet for her first appointment.
Oh. Do the puppies get shots at this
The
point?
breeder had given everything, and he warned me. He says, make sure that they don't give her anything because some other person got their puppy, and the vet gave all the shots that the puppy already had, and the little puppy died.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the vet, like the breeder gives a little medical book, and everything's in there, but they want to make money, right? Because they're paid per shot, and so the little puppy died. I mean,
that's terrible.
ugh, that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the little head, and you don't have to wait because it's stiff icing. So I've got 3 different shades of orange for the rest. Like I mentioned before, I'm only doing 2 colors per row of the scales just because every time you pick up and put down your piping bag, this takes time. So you can do this all in one color, obviously. I'm just 3 shades because it just makes the project a little bit more, like, visually I find interesting to
And
look
then,
at.
like you were saying before, you can add a little gold to it. So even if you were to do all the scales in one color, and then you go back in and add little like luster dust to
Absolutely.
add
Or
some.
you could use the light orange for all of them and then darken some, or just do watercolor on it, or, you know.
What kind of puppy is Winnie again? Andrew wants to know.
A wire-haired dachshund, dachshund, depending on, some people call them teckles. So I'm just doing dots along the edge of the head here. If you want to show her, it's one of the pictures there.
Yeah, let me grab it. And this is a tip 4.
Yeah, it's a 4.
Okay.
So I'm just adding these dots.
Let
And
me
then I'm squishing them kind of to flatten them so that the next row, like it looks like a scale.
Here she is.
There's Winnie. So she's a baby sister. We have a cockapoo now. She's 10, Daisy, and this is the new addition.
And seeing the 2 of them together is just really cute. The little video of
So I never thought we'd have 2 dogs, but you know, the pandemic happened, and you always wait for these perfect kind of moments, you know, oh, we'll wait for this, wait for that. And it's, my daughter told me it was her dream dog. So we said, well,
oh yeah.
daughter's, she's a very good daughter and everything. And so we decided to just, so Daisy is 10, so they'll have, you know, 5 years together, or, you know, presumably, you know. It's hard, you can't guess, we can't guess the time, but We're hoping Daisy teaches her all her good habits.
Yeah.
So these are just kind of like dots, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it's like it's a fish, and you know, you're just kind of smoothing down after towards the back of the cookie. You're flattening the dot and pulling down. It's very forgiving. You're just starting out with cookie decorating. This is a good project. You get to kind of come in and like retouch up anything you don't like with the paintbrush. And when you don't like stuff, you can actually scrape it off and start again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you can eat the evidence.
True.
So when you're making dots, if you're making dots on your cookies, the icing, if you want them to stay as dots, the icing has to be a bit runnier than this because you have to come in and kind of smooth down the end of the dot. Whereas this, I'm flattening, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. The trolls are out today. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah?
I keep having to delete and block. Like,
well, I've noticed in the comments on my page and stuff too,
mm-hmm.
like I think people are getting money for doing some of this stuff. So,
yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I just actually before was seeing like now they're talking so much about affiliate marketing. You know,
right.
Affiliate marketing, to make money with affiliate marketing, you have to sell so much. I mean, you need to sell. Like Amber, you have millions of followers,
right.
Millions of followers. Does affiliate marketing even contribute to 2%
like,
of your revenue?
Oh, I don't even know. It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. It's so hard to do. Yeah, like Amazon affiliate links, you really have to.
And they promote it like, you know, make $5,000 a month.
Right.
If you make $5,000 a month, I mean, you're better to go on OnlyFans. I mean, seriously.
I know.
I mean, get a pedicure. I just.
How many dogs do you have? Just the two? Right?
Just two, yes. Daisy's 10, and seriously, like, just such a good dog. And we decided to get the second dog for our daughter. And everybody's on board, the whole family. Everybody's helping and everything.
Yeah.
And Daisy, yeah, everybody has to be on board.
Right. I mean, obviously my kids want a dog, but they're 3 and 6.
Yes.
And they're like, we'll help. I'm like, no, you won't.
That's it. You know, they're well-intentioned. You know, of course they mean it, like, you know, but they just, they're kids, you know.
Yeah.
It's essentially going to be your dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it because like the dog that like Daisy, she loves me the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To prevent it.
Well, it always separates, right? Like that's just what happens. And I always empty my bags back into the containers because it's going to separate. So I just mix it in the container and then to reuse it.
Yeah, that would be my kind of thing too. But I think that the ingredients are a factor because I have to say my icing does not separate overnight.
Oh, because you use that different brand of meringue powder, right?
I think it's that. I mean, because really it does not, like, eventually after a week, but not overnight ever does it separate.
Okay, wow, yeah.
So now it's a 352 for the tail, and I'm just, like Amber said before, like a wave, kind of squeezing and releasing, connecting here at the kind of where the scales end, connecting, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, and then I just kind of pull away and you get a little point. And then you can rotate your cookie and do the other side. There. And you have your little fish. Look up the rainbow fish if you guys want to try this project, and you can see how it could be really like a little bit more colorful if you want to do something. And what was your fish that you said?
The pout fish.
The pout fish. Well, you can do a version for like if the kids know these characters, you know, because like birthday season is coming. And so, yeah, you guys can paint a little bit of gold on there. something a little, it's mostly this project is about the consistency and kind of getting familiar, acclimating, because royal icing, you just have to actually use the icing to master it, right?
Yeah, you gotta practice.
Exactly. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Is this gonna be on Patreon?
Um, I mean, it's gonna stay on the live here today. I
Mhm.
didn't film it, so
All right.
um,
Well, and there's lots of other recipes
yeah,
and videos on your Patreon.
exactly, exactly. I've never seen orange. Huh? Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.